Most men are professional interviewers. You meet a woman you like, and your brain goes into panic mode. You start firing off questions. Where are you from? What do you do for work? What's your favorite food? You think you're building connection. You think you're showing interest. You think you are being a nice guy who cares about her story. You're wrong. You're actually digging a grave for her attraction. Every time you ask a question, you are telling her, "I am the applicant, and you are the prize. Please, give me a chance to be understood." You are signaling that you need her information to feel comfortable. You are signaling that you are not enough on your own. What if I told you that the most attractive thing you can do in a conversation is to stop asking questions entirely? What if the key to making her obsessed isn't finding out her story, but making her work to write herself into yours? Today, I'm going to show you how to use a method of communication where silence is your loudest weapon and statements are your only currency. This isn't about playing hard to get or using cheap tricks to deceive. This is about self-possession. In the ancient world, the Stoics knew that a man who could control his tongue could control an empire. We are applying the psychology of restraint. We are shifting the power dynamic from the chaser to the observer. This isn't manipulation. It is the restoration of the natural order of attraction. It is about becoming a man who is so grounded in his own reality that he doesn't need to interview others to feel at home in a room. By the end of this video, you will have a protocol that replaces the nice guy interview with a high-value frame. I will teach you the 4-second rule, the observation formula, and the no defense response. If you want to know why she stops replying when you're being nice, pay close attention. We're going to close the curiosity gap and show you exactly what happens in the feminine mind when a man refuses to play the role of the applicant. Think about your last date or your last conversation with a woman you truly desired. You felt the pressure of the silence. You felt the need to perform, to entertain, to keep the vibe going. You talked about your job, your hobbies, and you asked her 20 questions because you were terrified that if the air went quiet, she'd realize you aren't enough. You felt that knot in your stomach every time there was a pause longer than 2 seconds. And what happened? She smiled, she was polite, and then she ghosted you. She told her friends you were nice, but there was no spark. You were a great interviewer, but you weren't a man she felt tension with. You were comfortable, and comfort is the death of desire. You tried to buy her interest with your curiosity, but curiosity without mystery is just an interrogation. Here is the truth you've been avoiding. You are boring her with your curiosity. When you ask a question, you are seeking information. But attraction isn't built on information. It's built on emotion and mystery. Every question you ask gives her power over you. It signals that you need her validation to feel secure in the moment. You are handing her the blueprint to your mind. You are showing her all your cards before the game has even begun. And once she has the map, once she knows exactly how you think and how much you want her, there is no reason for her to explore the territory. The chase ends before it starts because you've made yourself an open book that's already been summarized. The paradox is this: the less you reveal, the more she wants to understand you. The less you ask, the more she reveals herself. Power in attraction is like gravity. It belongs to the object that stays still. When you stop chasing her story, she starts trying to prove her value to you. Silence isn't empty space. It is a vacuum that pulls her in. It is a mirror that reflects her own effort back at her. When you stop leaning in, she's forced to lean in just to keep the connection alive. If you've been the applicant for too long, hit the subscribe button. This is the silent roar, and we are training men to become the mountain. Subscribe now, and let's move into the execution. The first step in this method is to replace questions with observations. This is the cold read. Stop asking, "How was your day?" This is the language of a servant. It is a standard, low-value script that she has heard 1,000 times from 1,000 different men. Instead, state a truth. Say, "You look like someone who values her peace more than the noise of this room." Notice the shift. You aren't seeking information. You are stating a reality. You become the observer, the judge, the one who perceives. This forces her to respond to your reality. If you're right, she's impressed by your intuition. If you're wrong, she'll correct you. Either way, she is the one explaining herself to you. You have flipped the roles. You are now the one sitting on the throne, and she is the one trying to be understood. Think about the psychology here. When you make an observation, you are showing that you are paying attention to her energy, not just her words. You are looking beneath the surface. This creates a level of intimacy and tension that a standard question could never reach. It shows confidence because an observation carries the risk of being wrong. A question is safe, a statement is bold, and boldness is the foundation of the masculine frame. Next, you must master the 4-second silence protocol. Most men are terrified of the awkward silence. They see it as a failure of the conversation. You must see it as a test of your power. When she finishes speaking, do not reply immediately. Count to 4 in your head. Maintain eye contact. Smile slightly, as if you know a secret she doesn't. This creates controlled tension. It shows you are comfortable in your own skin and that you don't need to perform to keep her interested. It signals that you are evaluating her words rather than reacting to them. The man who can hold a pause is the man who holds the frame. In those 4 seconds, her mind will start racing. She will wonder if she said something wrong, if she's interesting enough, or what you're thinking about. That wonder is the seed of obsession. Silence is the ultimate power move because it cannot be argued with. It is a wall. When you rush to speak, you show that your internal peace depends on her response. When you stay silent, you show that your peace is self-generated. You are the mountain, and the wind of the conversation can blow as hard as it wants, but you remain unmoved. This stillness is what women find magnetic, because it suggests a deep, underlying strength that doesn't need to bark to be felt. Then, you must refuse the explanation trap. This is where most men fail. If she challenges you, asking, "Why are you being so quiet?" or "Do you always act this way?" do not justify yourself. Do not explain your strategy. Do not tell her you're watching a video on Stoicism. Over-explaining is a confession of weakness. It shows that you care more about her opinion of you than your own opinion of yourself. A man who knows his truth doesn't need to defend it. If she challenges you, simply smirk and let the moment hang. You might say, "I just prefer the silence right now," or even better, say nothing at all and just maintain that calm, amused gaze. When you're comfortable being misunderstood, you become impossible to manipulate. You are signaling that your frame is made of iron, and no amount of testing will make it bend. This refusal to explain yourself creates a massive curiosity gap. She will try to figure out your why. She will spend her time thinking about your motivations. And the more time she spends thinking about you, the more she invests in you. This is the politics of desire. You aren't being rude, you are being self-sovereign. You are showing her that you are a man who answers to himself, not to the whims of a conversation. Practice controlled disclosure. This is the art of fragmented mystery. Stop telling her your life story, your plans for the weekend, or your deepest fears in the first 3 hours of meeting her. When she asks about you, give her fragments. Talk about your mission, your work, or your passions, but never give away the whole plan. Clarity kills desire. If she knows everything about you, she has no reason to keep looking. By revealing yourself in pieces, you maintain mystery with integrity. You are showing her that your world is vast, and she's only seen the gates. You are the deep ocean, and she's only seeing the waves on the surface. This keeps her engaged, searching for more, always feeling like there is another layer to uncover. This controlled disclosure also protects your energy. A Stoic man doesn't waste his words on those who haven't earned them. Your story is valuable. Your mission is sacred. When you treat your information as a limited resource, she treats it as a high-value prize. She will cherish the small things you do reveal because they were earned through her own effort and curiosity, not handed to her on a silver platter because you were afraid of losing her. Finally, you must govern your reactions. This is the highest form of self-possession. A woman's emotions are fluid like a storm. They are powerful, changing, and often chaotic. If you react to her storm, if you get angry when she's distant or anxious when she's quiet, you become part of the chaos. You lose your masculine polarity. But if you remain the mountain, unmoved, calm, and slightly amused by the weather, she has no choice but to find her peace in your shadow. You don't manage her emotions, you master your own, and she follows your lead. This is the logos of attraction. You are the rational order in a world of emotional noise. When you refuse to be shaken by her tests or her moods, you prove that you're a safe harbor. You prove that you're a man who can lead. Imagine the transformation. Imagine walking into a room and not feeling the need to say a single word to be noticed. Imagine the weight of your presence being felt before you even open your mouth. Imagine a woman looking at you, trying to figure you out, leaning in because your silence is more magnetic than any line she's ever heard. This is the power of the silent roar. When you master your presence, you stop being a beggar for attention and start being a center of gravity. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes to see if she replied. You stop rehearsing what you're going to say next. You realize that the most powerful thing you can say is often nothing at all. You aren't chasing anyone anymore. They are chasing the certainty that only you can provide. The world is full of men who make noise, men who brag, men who plead, men who interview. These men are forgotten the moment they leave the room. But the man who can sit in the stillness, the man who can observe without judging, and the man who can speak in statements rather than questions, that man is unforgettable. He is rare. He is high value. As you go out into the world this week, I want you to perform a mental audit. Every time you feel the urge to ask a question to fill the silence, stop, breathe, make an observation instead. Hold the pause for 4 seconds. Watch how the energy in the room shifts. Watch how she begins to look at you differently. You are no longer the applicant, you are the mountain. Master your silence, or be forgotten in the noise. This is the silent roar. Stay grounded, stay observant, and never explain your power to those who haven't earned the right to understand it. Your strength is in your restraint. Your mystery is your leverage. Use it wisely. If this revelation changed the way you view power, show your strength by hitting the subscribe button and turning on notifications. Don't let your growth end here. Watch the next video on your screen to continue your journey into the art of masculine restraint. Master your silence. This is the silent roar.